Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Premium Aquatics. Hopefully you've been having a great couple of weeks. Today, we're gonna get right down to it, get into this because I'm excited about it. Hopefully it turns out well. I don't know, we'll see what happens. But what we're gonna work on today is a couple of things. The West Mariculture Caves, rock structure, whatever you want to call it, that I talked to you about a few videos ago. If you haven't looked into it, go back to that video, check it out. I love these things, absolutely love them. They are amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to grab this large chunk of the marble rock out of the tank, at least that. I might actually grab two of them. I'm going to take them out of the tank real quick. I'm going to bust them up to an extent, maybe in half, quarters, whatever. And then I've got some actually real reef rubble, rubble-ish I should say. They're golf ball, maybe baseball sized pieces. And I'm going to do some aquascaping. With that, I also have the Aquaforest stone fix. We had some broken bottles, so I got one of those, and I'm going to be mixing that up. Check it out, see what it looks like compared to the Nios reef cement. I assume it's going to be very, very similar to that. So we're going to play with that, get a really awesome structure. Hopefully, I really like what I did with the reef, the real reef, back when I set this tank up. I think that's my favorite little structure that I've got going on. So I want to extend that out and hopefully create something really cool with this piece kind of as the center of it. So let's go ahead, let's get to it. Okay guys, so I've got my setup here, took out this rock, broke it up into several pieces. I'm going to keep only a few of them. We have our Aquaforest stone fix. This is very much like your Nios reef cement. We're going to take some water here, and I got purified water. We're going to mix it in one of these empty containers, and then we just slowly mix until it makes a nice Play-Doh-y type of paste. We want to be able to play with it a little bit and mold it, but we also don't want it to be just overly wet. So before I mix that up, actually, because you don't have a ton of time, and they do recommend only doing a few pieces, so since we're doing small pieces, I won't need as much on each piece, but overall I'll probably have a decent amount, so I want to limit how much I'm using. But to start off, I'm going to start playing with the rock just to get an idea of how I want to set this up, and then go in and mix cement and start mixing it together. Alright, so I'm going to keep this recording as I just play along, and you can kind of see what I'm looking to do with this. I want to kind of mimic what I did with the real reef, but with the Marco dry rock. And you can see here, hopefully in the camera, you can see I've got coralline algae. It's really starting to come on this, so that's nice. It took forever, but again, keep in mind, I was not actively doing anything with this to help that. Let's get playing around with this. Obviously, I want to make this piece front and center in some manner. And there are holes on the bottom, so I'm actually wanting to keep these open as much as possible and not have rock inside of it if I can, just to give, you know, a little bit more for the fish to swim through. But I actually really like how that sets up. We might utilize that as a really nice contact point right here. And I think something like this here. So let's mix some up of let's mix some of the stone fix up. We're just going to make a very small batch because, again, I don't want to use a ton, and a little bit should go a long way with the little rocks that we're working with. So I need to get a mixing spoon here. Okay, mixing spoon. I actually got a styrofoam container, that way I don't have to ruin my nice plastic containers. And we're just going to start out slowly. Little bit of water. It's probably not going to take much. That was probably too much right here. Okay, so we're just going to mix it together until it starts forming our Play-Doh-like consistency. Now we really got that clay effect going, so this I think is going to be good. So I need to get working with it before it starts hardening up on me. So let's go ahead. I'm just using my hands. You guys can use gloves, obviously, but this is what I'm using. So just a little at a time. I'm going to put it right here, and then I'm going to really nice and smooth this out just so it looks a little better. Then I'm just going to hold it there for a little bit while I work on the other side, which we were putting right like this. So I'm going to slap some cement on this side, and I know you guys can't see it, so I apologize. I'm going to put a little bit more over here since I have a little bit more area to work with. So now we're going to let this dry. Okay guys, this structure should be good. I'm not going to make any big movements because obviously I'm not using a ton of this cement for the sake of my tank. We're using as little as possible, so I need to be very, very careful about moving, otherwise it will come apart, it will break. Next, we're going to play around with some of the rocks. We're only going to use a few more pieces. I don't want to go into a ton of this. I don't want to really screw up my system by adding in a ton of this cement. And I'm actually going to glue this piece next, so that way when it does stand up like this, I've got this little underneath, little, I guess, nook, cranny for whatever, and then this kind of shooting out piece here. So I'm going to mix up some more, and we're going to get this, I'm going to get this piece put on. Figure out where my contact points are, and that's where I want to put the cement. Put a little bit up here as well. And if you can, try and get into some of those nooks and crannies of your rocks. That way, as you're putting it up here, it's getting, you know, smushed between all these pieces. So that way, it's going to once it dries, it's going to have a very, very strong bond, and you're not just trying to hold on to flat pieces. So like right here, I'll go around this rock, the lip of this rock, just to give that little extra you know, support to it. And then what I'll do is I will pull out this piece, and I'm going to let it set on it, and then just add a little bit more. Just give that extra strength to it that we want. Okay, so this is on now. Again, being very careful. I've got it set up. I like it so far. I'm going to add this piece here, and then I actually think I'm going to add a piece back here, just to give it a little bit more closure, so this isn't just one huge archway, because I don't want that. So I'm going to get this piece glued in, and then we'll rotate it, and then we'll work on the next pieces here. All right, guys, so we've got that. This worries me that something's going to knock over me, but we're going to be very careful and tilt this, take out my little pieces for now. And I really like the way this is set up so far. I just want to close out this back a little more so it's not quite as open. So I'm going to put it right here. The nice thing, I'm going to put it like this. Nice thing, it gives me two caves here. I got my big open area in the center. So let's mix up a little batch. So I'm going to let this dry now, and we'll come back. I'll turn it around so you guys can see the finished product, and then we'll put it in the tank, see how it looks. Hopefully it'll look good, and this tank will be officially aquascaped a little bit more. Alright guys, this is the finished product. I actually really like it, and once everything comes colored up, this is going to look phenomenal. And then once we make it cohesive with the rest of the system, this thing is going to look phenomenal. I like it. Let me put it in the system, and we'll show you the absolute final here. Alright guys, here it is in the tank. A couple pieces broke. This little mushroom piece that's right here, you can't really see it. I had to set it over here. It was glued in this area, but broke off when I put it in there. Unfortunately, I hit the side. One thing I did screw up on is because I had some pieces that I left in here. I didn't really have as much room as what I wanted, but I still like it. I added this flat shelf once I got it in, and I'm actually really liking this. I think the fish will love it. All these nooks and crannies for them to swim in and out of is what I find the most fascinating. So I actually really, really love this, and I think it's going to look great once the Coraline continues to cover all of this rock. So that's it for me, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Go out, make some aquascapes. I love my rock. This rockwork's my favorite right here in the middle, but absolutely go check it out. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe, all that good jazz. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Stay happy, healthy, and I will catch you next round. Peace.